All right, so name's Phil, go by PhilCooProductions, host of the Conversation Podcast. So I have a special guest with me here tonight. So introduce yourself. Who's Ozzyoz Da Vyrus I'm speaking to tonight?
What's going on? As you said, your boy Ozzyoz Da Vyrus, one of the coldest graphic designers in the space. And we here.
It's nice. Now, before we get started, I want to do a little icebreaker.
Okay.
Top 5 animes and why?
Top 5 animes. Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto. What else do I like? I am starting to appreciate Attack on Titan. So I want to say Attack on Titan's up there on that list for me. And right after that, I want to say I'm really been enjoying Solo Leveling lately. I know it's new, but I've been enjoying it a lot. So those are like my 5 right now.
I can tell because it's won a lot of awards.
Yeah.
People kept saying it shouldn't have won the Crunchyroll Awards this year. I was like, well, you can't blame, because Alex Lee, he's amazing. So you can't blame him for his acting now.
Yeah, no, he's killing it. Yeah, no, those are my top 5 favorites right now.
Nice, that's nice. All right, so the way we're going to do this, I divided it up into 4 sections. There were some really good questions I came up with, but there was a lot, so we'll get through each one slowly. So it's supposed to be like 20 questions, but since I got some good deep dives, it's now like at least more than 20, like almost like 30 or something. But we'll try to get through them as fast as we can.
Let's do it.
I just want to make sure I have some good deep dives. All right, so section 1, origins, identity, and influences. Now, number 1, tell me the giant moment, the exact anime, album, or scene that made you decide, hey, this is what I want to spend my life doing. Walk us through the memory and that feeling.
When Goku went Super Saiyan for the first time after Krillin died, that's my moment where I'm like, okay, I don't know much about what's going on here, but I'm invested. And that's when I fell in love with, like, if we're just talking about anime in general, then yeah.
Okay. Hey, that's a legendary scene. Listen, I wasn't born in the 90s, but when I watched Dragon Ball Z Kai, I watched like the remastered version of the stuff. But
you gotta go back to the OG, man.
Yeah.
Kai's cool.
Yeah.
But the original one, or at least Funimation's redub, or the original one on Ocean dub, either or, they did good. This is before Kai. That emotion that it felt, I'm not saying Kai was bad, but just watching that scene was crazy because like Goku almost thought he beat up Frieza, and we all thought it was okay, everybody's safe, Frieza's defeated, and then it wasn't even done from there. He kills Krillin, he goes Super Saiyan, and that's it. It was legendary from there on. So yeah, the first time watching Goku turn Super Saiyan.
Definitely. And listen, I've been watching the Japanese version of Dragon Ball Z because I was super pissed off that some of these music was not featured in the US version. Most of the songs that were sung by Kageyama were sung in the Japanese version. I was like, see, this is why I need to keep watching the Japanese versions of stuff, because you miss out on a lot of context and content they're adding in these shows.
That is true.
So that's why I was like, screw everyone who thinks the English dub is better than the English sub. Is not a competition. You gotta watch the English subtitles. That's what I made. Because when I watched Sonic X with Showdown in Space, Maria's Wish, they played Live and Learn in the Japanese version. I was like, how did 4 kids not put this in here? Are you serious? Like, why didn't they put this song Live and Learn? Like, they ain't gonna recognize this. I might need to talk to Jason Griffin about that. So
absolutely.
So number 2, what moment or environment first made you realize art could be more than a hobby, that it could actually speak for you?
But what?
Oh, I was saying, what moment or environment first made you realize art could be more than a hobby, that it could actually speak for you?
Oh, like doing art or just anime?
Just art.
Oh, art. Well, I've been so invested into art since I was young. It's kind of like, I don't want to say they've been there since birth, but as long as I can remember, I've been doing this as a child for a long time. But to answer your question shortly, I'd say when I was in elementary school and I would draw pictures, and my other students and friends would buy my art prints for like 50 cents to $1. That's when I knew, like, okay, people like what I create, so I'm gonna just keep creating.
That's nice. I know that, sometimes, in elementary school, even myself, people are making fun of me because I'm into all this stuff and they didn't understand it. But,
Yeah.
that's okay. It's okay to be nerds. But, at some point, back then, because Toonami was my after school vibe when I get home watching Toonami. And I know that some artists and singers who like anime and stuff, they want to try to like start at an early age and try to apply that to when they get to adults.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that's the same that what you did too. Like you started something out, you started drawing like characters or something. I think you did draw some characters before back in the day.
Yeah. I started drawing characters a long time ago, and I've been doing it, so I just enjoy it.
Yes, that's nice. I always find something that you enjoy doing. That way, nobody can take that talent from you.
Exactly.
So, now number 3, your work blends anime with street hip hop aesthetics. Which 3 non-anime influences, music, fashion, cars, etc., do you return to most, and how do you translate them visually?
It got to be like graffiti and pop culture, because anime is anime. It's its own art style already, but I'm just here to kind of redraw it, but in these urban aspects that kind of make it, dope. And sometimes just knowing high fashion with clothes, designer clothes, jewelry, tattoos, things that feel like the art is custom, even though it's not custom. So I think those are like the biggest things that help make my art stand out.
It's nice because I know when I went to Anime Inc. in Savannah, I don't know if you were at that one. There have been a lot of people doing anime tattoos. They do like characters and stuff. Sometimes they do like jewelry. They do like jewelry from like shows they've watched that apply to it. T-shirts, all the stuff you've been selling. So yeah, so mostly, I think what people do, they just like pay attention to like how the shows come out and what kind of artistic stuff they like. Take for example, let's say someone's shooting lightning out their hands. Like, how can you apply that to your art?
Yeah.
Just like something as simple as that, or could be, with Deku like shooting the black whip out of his body.
Yeah. Shout out to all the tattoo artists. They have a really unique, dope way of just kind of taking these elements but making it look like it's popping out of the skin. You know what I mean? And that's what like a real artist is able to do. They're able to take the canvas and make it look like it's, like the image is coming right at you. That's where you have like a good tattoo artist.
Hey, the more real it is, the more spectacular it'll be.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. Oh, now number 5, who saw you early on and believed in you? A mentor, a teacher, a friend? Give me one concrete piece of advice they gave that changed how you worked or thought about art.
That's a good question. I've had so many people that have, taken a peek at like my potential and helped me expand it along the way. But obviously my parents, my parents were like really big supporters in like my art skills and like what I wanted to do with it, even though there was no clear way of how to do what I'm doing today. The way how it worked out, it was not mapped out this way years ago. I kind of just flowed into it. But they were big supporters of making sure I, practice my skills, go to art classes, art school, art tutorials, and all that. So I got really good, and I've achieved the level that I'm at now just from doing it for so long.
That's nice, man. Listen, parents are gonna be there to support you always. I had a conversation with a voice actor. His name is Brandon Loera. He said that he and his brother Zach Loera, he's also a voice actor. That their mom forced him to do voice acting because she believed that they could do theater and all that stuff. And they got tired of her, but at the end of the day, they managed to be voice actors and realize she was right. We got an art like in our voices to do all these characters on anime shows.
Yeah, no, that's what's up, and that's what it takes sometimes. Is if you're blessed enough to have the opportunity to have loving parents or someone in your corner who believes in you to push you to be great or do something that they feel that you're gonna be great at. That's always a blessing. You know what I mean? So you gotta take advantage of that if they're trying to tell you to do it.
And listen, everyone has different talents. You know, me, thing is, I put photography back. So I do photography. I might come back to it at a later time. I just got tired of it this year, so I put it back on the shelf. This is why I picked this up, so I can start talking to people now, because now I'm trying to do like independent journalism work. Because now I'm going to conventions and talking to people, and I have my GoPro camera too. So I've been making a few tech runs to make sure I have everything I need. Because you'll see me having on when I be at Anime Weekend Atlanta this Christmas. So yeah, I think whatever you like doing, and parents are there going to support you. Be like, hey, I believe you could do this. I say taking a run with it.
I believe the same way. I was super thirsty. But I believe the same way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great.
Let's see. Number 6. This one's gonna be important. Growing as a Black creator in anime-inspired art has cultural implications. How has your identity shaped what you produce, who reaches it, and how you show up?
I like to be represented as a Black artist. I don't really look at my art too much as being like a big part of like being a Black artist, because I draw the characters for who they are. I don't change their skin tones or nothing. I'd say that I think anything's wrong with that. I just try to make my art for everybody, whether you're a Black anime fan, Indian, Asian, Spanish, white, Black, it don't matter. I try to make the art to where we all can look at this piece and say, "Yo, this is dope." But I stand as just being like a Black artist in general, because it's a beautiful thing. I wouldn't want to be anything else but a Black artist. So.
True. And there have been like some, backlash from the anime community. There's still like some kind of racism playing out. Because one of the things we talked about, I actually had an interview with 3 cosplayers like back in August. We talked about, because there was this incident with this couple using blackface to like try to like do their cosplays to get it accurate. So I think that's still going on today. But yeah, they were saying some very disgusting things about, I don't give a shit what offends you, but it's still offensive. Kind of thing. So it's just, we just talked about how important it is to not do that kind of stuff, how we can teach people not to do blackface. Like, you don't have to change your skin tone in order to do that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah,
it's not even real. So in the other situation, when I talked to Brandon Loera, he was saying, like, I think you've heard the situation with Zeno Robinson. They were saying he wasn't Black enough for this character in this show that they were doing. And I was like, that was kind of a weird comment to put out. I was like,
yeah,
it's not real. Why do you care? It's just a show.
People just want to feel like they got something to say. Sometimes people don't even know what they're saying their damn stuff. They just want to say it just to say it. They don't really know. So it's like, why even listen?
Yeah, and they just want attention. That's what it is.
Because they don't know what they're saying, so they just get attention by just saying nonsense. So yeah, now hopefully he obviously, I know he'll ignore that. He's a professional, but
yeah. And listen, we can't do anything about that. Let's just keep doing what makes us happy, and just keep showing us the peace and love over the hatred.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're out of that section. We're in section 2, life experience and storytelling. Now, a lot of your art feels autobiographical, even when it's anime inspired. What real emotions or experiences do you channel when creating?
Okay, that's a good question. What I'm channeling is creativity and uniqueness. Like every piece, at least what I try to do, my main goal and what I attempt to is, how can I make this piece different than any other artist that's going to draw this same character? So we're all drawing, Goku or Vegeta or Luffy or anybody from any show. My goal is to make sure when you look at this, you're going to remember and you're going to know I did it, because a lot of artists, what they tend to do is they'll have like this uniform basic look, or this look that it's good, it's not bad, but it's almost like you can't tell who did it. And I'm trying to bring this style of this fashion back, where you look at a piece and you can tell who did this art. So yeah, that's what I'm aiming for.
Oh yeah, of course. You want to make sure that it feels like it's you. Listen, don't try so hard to be something that you're not. And I know some artists, like yourself, like even tattoo artists, when they start doing stuff, they're in the zone. Like nothing's bothering them. Like, I want to do my own thing, no distractions. It's perfect. No, just you're in the zone.
Exactly.
So, and I think that's what most people need to know. Like, whatever you're doing, make sure that you just meditate and go to a happy place. It makes you feel like you're doing this like very, artistic, extraordinary piece that no one's never seen you do before, and you created that from scratch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And basically, it's like you're trying to do a sculpture. You want to make sure all the pieces are in place.
Because the structure is very important.
Yeah. If the structure's not good, then it's not going to be attractive for people buying. You want to make sure that it's very. Listen, Ozzy, always, and you guys, you already know this because you're a professional now. Just take your time with the art. We're not going anywhere.
Exactly. Get it out when it's time for it to be out. Trust me, I get it, brother.
Yeah. This next one's important. What's a personal story you never fully told publicly, but still influences the way you create or see the world?
The story would have to be the time I realized that honestly, it's actually a recent story, which is what's pushing me into wanting to do more originals, right? So IShowSpeed was recently wearing my art design, like my Luffy design, right?
Yeah. Anime News Guy talked about that. I
Yeah.
pay attention to him.
So,
he follows me on Instagram. We're good friends. Go ahead.
Exactly. So it's a great thing and a bad thing, right? It's great because he likes my art. He wore it all day, and people know that I am associated with that design. Luffy's not my character, but that design is mine. But it's bad because the person who gave him the shirt, it's obviously a stolen piece of artwork where my name was cut out. So it's hard to get the credit for that design because, I didn't make Luffy, but I drew that rendition of Luffy. So the story is that, okay, I need to figure out how to make something that when people see it, they know it's me. They can tell that the style is me, but can they know like the art is mine? And some people just don't know or don't care. So that's been like a recent eye opener for me. You know what I mean?
Also, I want to say I apologize that happened to you, man.
Oh, that's all good.
So,
but see, I learned. Now I want to make my original. So everything happens for a reason. It's okay.
So yeah, just thing is, people just don't like. Do y'all like understand how this is going to affect the person that you're doing this? Like, you don't steal anybody else's work. If I can give you one example, there was this incident that happened at Anime Expo earlier this year. I don't know if you saw, but there was this guy who was at the expo. He had an interview with the person at Viz Media who created all those Shonen Jump comics and everything. Mm-hmm. Well, not created, just the company, Viz Media. All of his gear, it was a lot of expensive equipment. It was stolen.
Wow.
Yeah. Like his original prints, his camera, everything, I know it's really expensive.
That sucks.
And I didn't mention him in my story. I try to support him. If there's one, listen, I'm all for Korean pop culture and stuff and hanging out with guys. But if there's one thing that I can't tolerate, is people stealing other people's work.
Yeah, it's bad out here, man. People are just desperate and want opportunity, so they'll do whatever it takes to get that, even if it comes with stealing. So it's sad, but this is just the world that we're in right now.
Yeah. And I also said, listen, as heartbreaking as it is, it just reminds us that, being with a group or staying together and just, watching each other's backs and protecting our equipment has to be part of the experience now.
Yes, absolutely.
Here's the thing, Ozzy. When I get to Anime Week in Atlanta, and when I go to all these other conventions, the microphones, my GoPro camera, like my GoPro camera is strapped to my sling bag. Like all that stuff does not leave my body. So
it's keep your stuff close by you, man. Hopefully you don't lose it.
Yeah, because the DJI microphones has a magnet on it, so I can just put it under my shirt and it'll be stuck to my shirt the whole time. But yeah, none of that stuff leaves my body.
Good. Yeah. No, watch your stuff. Hopefully nobody steals from you.
So, but I think it's nice that you didn't let this, basically turn pain into purpose. This didn't stop you.
Exactly. No, listen, we still making art, so that's all that matters. Like, what else am I gonna do? Stop. So,
stop is not going to solve anything.
Exactly.
We just got to keep pushing forward. But yes, keep doing amazing work. You're doing great, man.
I appreciate that.
How has life humbled you, and how have those moments shown up in your art without people realizing it?
Again, the ISO speed situation was very humbling. You know, I mean, there's been a lot of humble things that I've gone through, but that's one of those things where I realized, okay, I gotta get to the next level of my purpose. You know, drawing anime fan art is fun. It's cool. I dominate in it. I think I put my foot in it as much as I can for as many people that recognize me and know me. But now it's time to get to that next level. So to be humbled, to not fully get the credit, to make me realize I have to do better is again the same story resonates. A lot of lessons were learned in that situation. So it's just time to do better and just go, you know, further beyond.
Hey, and like I said, we all make mistakes. How can we learn from it?
Exactly.
That's all that matters. Like, listen, I made mistakes my entire life, but it didn't stop me to where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
So just gotta stay focused, and we'll be fine. Because like I said, like, listen, I made mistakes, but I always kept my head on the swivel because I'm not an idiot. So just you get the point. Art can be healing. Has it ever helped you process loss, burnout, or doubt?
Yeah, definitely burn out a lot. Sometimes when you're trying to pump out so many pieces or try to fit like a deadline or a timeline to get something out, that could definitely add to the burnout. But I've learned to just take it easy. Don't rush. Like you said, the art's always going to be here, whether I'm late, on time, you know, whenever it comes out, people will enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. And listen, I know you've been doing a lot of art stuff, I was like, because I was thinking, I know like some artists, I just be a little concerned and be like, don't they ever just take a step back and just, enjoy life for a bit,
Some
But
do. Some do. Hey, some of us, we got to work. We got bills to pay. We want to really make this art stuff work. So sometimes you can't take a break as much as you want, you know, but hopefully everybody's in a bit at a position where they can, you know, step back, but it's always good to if you can.
Yeah. And listen, this is your job because you've been doing this. I don't know how many years you've been doing this. I think it's like 3 to 5 years now, or
No, I've been a digital artist for about 15 years.
that's a long time, man. So 2010.
Yeah, about 2009, 2010, about around there.
I was still in elementary school, man.
Yeah, bro. I was in ninth grade. I'm 30 years old, so I was, you know, starting early. Well, 31, sorry.
31 now. Yeah. Yeah. So shoot, you're 6 years ahead of me. So, but it's okay though. But yeah, but it's nice that for 15 years you kept doing something very amazing. I know by the time I do the same, by the time next year, it'll be like the 1 year anniversary since I started this podcast. So still have a lot to learn, but it's still working.
And you're gonna learn it. You're gonna get through each step and you're gonna, you know, excel every part of the way.
Yeah. And yeah, but I never know what's next in store for me, but I'll make sure to be ready. So, when you look back, what's a moment where life hit hard and art became your language to survive it?
COVID. It's easy. It's an easy question. COVID. I had just had my daughter. I had just moved into a house. You know, I got my house off of, you know, art, which is an amazing blessing to do. Say I was able to get that off of what I love doing. So to keep and maintain, you know, some of the stuff that we're aiming to get in life, COVID made things difficult by shutting down shows and events. So it just made things really tough to figure out how am I going to sustain and keep what I got myself into, and making more art was the answer, you know. I have two collections, the Vyrus Graphics collection, the LSD collection. COVID pushed me my back against the wall to create the LSD collection with all the mashups, and that's been a successful collection for me too. So
That's sweet, man. Yeah, listen, I was indoors too when COVID happened. The thing is, back in 2019, right before 2020, when COVID hit, I was just at home doing Twitch streaming because I wanted to showcase games and express who I am in those games,
yeah, you just get your back into one, you gotta just create something or do something.
Yeah, and now people are doing like a lot of still people are doing like a lot of at home work, and it's like, oh shoot, well this could be like this podcast could be like my own like I could create my own home studio at some point since I'm making this work. I'm doing a lot of Twitch streaming these days, so it's really nice that we have the opportunity to do homework. Even my mom works at home. So, because most of the stuff, because my job that I work at, I help with like students and everything. Kumon, because here's the thing, Kumon was actually founded in Japan.
Oh, okay. Really?
So my mom's been running that business since 2007.
Yeah, I have feelings of the 7 and 17 is trying to say, but I get you.
So she created because I was struggling in school, but now that everything's been moving online, basically I get to work at home on my computers pretty much tomorrow in the morning as well. So yeah, it's nice that we all have the chance. You have the chance to make, because I guarantee you during COVID, you had to make at least hundreds and thousands of art pieces until you get to the next convention. Yeah, wait, that's me more stuff for you to sell and let people appreciate all the hard work you've done.
Well, in reality, I don't even make that much art. I drop like at least 1 or 2 a month. I only got like 170 pieces in total in the last 7 years. So work very
Okay.
slow. I take my time, no rush.
I understand. I thought usually, because I thought usually artists would be like just making art pieces nonstop. Like, you know how some people like to
I
stay
don't
up
have
late
that
at
money.
night? You know how some people usually be staying up at night and doing all that, It's nuts, but I know you don't have the mentality for that.
Yeah, no, I don't really make that much art. I work on a lot of creative things, creative processes. Remember, I do videos. I make other forms of content creation. So art's just a portion of what I create. If I wasn't
Okay.
doing all that stuff, then you're right. I probably would have more art.
Well, hey, Josh, take your time. You don't have to do everything in one night.
Exactly.
So, let's see. Number 16 will be at the end of this section, and then we'll be at the halfway point.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You often blend fantasy and reality. What truths about yourself do you hide in your art?
I love flashy stuff. I love pop culture. I love fashion. So I think that's what's really hidden in the art a lot.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I try to make sure my art just embodies the stuff that I'm into. So that's really it. When you look at me, you can see the art. Like you could tell like I'm the artist behind it.
Because I know with some tattoo artists and everything, whether it's fancy reality, because I know one time I did talk with a tattoo artist right before you, which was like back last weekend. Basically everything these artists do, these tattoo artists, when they tattoo on people, they do tell a story.
Yep, they do. Yep,
So
artists. That's our job to just tell that story.
yeah, whether it's just like fancy written or something that happened like in real life, like because hold on, can I say one thing?
Go ahead.
Yeah, because I talked to some of the voice actors who've done all the dubbing for these characters. There have been some life lessons going on in those shows. Listen, when I was in high school, I was just basically there for entertainment. But now that I'm 25, I'm getting like older and wiser. I'm starting to understand the context the more I pay attention to these shows now. Because when I was watching, let's say for example, one of the voice actors gave me an example, mainly Flanagan, who voices Naruto.
Yeah,
She actually, when she did one of those episodes where Naruto meets his parents for the first time, she drew all her emotions because she previously lost her mother, like a few, like I think it was like a few months back. She lost her mother, and she wanted to try to bring her loss into Naruto mom for the first time.
Yeah, I respect
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Then you got stuff like My Hero Academia. When we get to close to the end of the season, you got stuff like let's say like the Todoroki family. When they did that in that episode called I Am Here last year, they froze up Dobby at the end, and I never felt bad because he wasn't there for his son all the time. But here's the thing, Oz. Parents are gonna be busy. Like they got stuff to fix and everything. But in the end, he felt bad that he wasn't there for his son all the time. And then you get to a girl's ego, where it gets when it's Ochako Uraka versus Himiko Toga. When I was watching that backstory, saying that parents were saying we give something birth to something inhumane, I was like, okay, I understand your point, but why didn't you help your daughter out instead? Like, why did you turn her into something that better than what she is now? And I kind of felt bad for Himiko Toga because her parents didn't give her a chance at life. They just like try to like push her out, all that stuff. Because when Dobby burned down her house, she felt relieved and free from all the trauma.
Yeah, I remember that scene too. Yeah, damn, it's deep. That's what I like about anime. There's a lot of deep stories you can learn from it. A lot of things you can pull from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's nice because I'm starting to like really pay attention to these scenes. I'm like, okay, I understand the
And what they can't
context.
tell you. Yep.
Yeah. Same thing with like Dragon Ball Z, Garlic Jr. song. I finally watched that for the first time because I skipped it because it wasn't part of the manga.
Mm.
But I watched the 10th year arc for the first time this year, and I started to understand, okay, now I understand the context with the Garlic Jr. saga. Goku is still absent. Vegeta's out in space trying to find him.
Mm-hmm.
Garlic Jr. is trying to take over Earth. Goku is not there to defend Earth. So it's up to Gohan, Piccolo, and Krillin to save Earth this time
I
because
remember that.
basically it's like, okay, Gohan has to fight this time, because, like us, our parents are not going to be around forever.
That's a fact. So we gotta know when we have to, step in and take the place that they want us to be in one day. So
And that's how they managed to get Gohan with the Garlic Jr. saga. He defeated Garlic Jr. himself, after Krillin and Piccolo helped him out a little bit, but he managed to finish him off without Goku's help. And I was like, they need to do more stories like this. Like, what happens when Goku and Vegeta are away? They did the same thing. They did the same thing with Dragon Ball Superhero.
Yep, I saw that.
So, like I was like, I agree with Piccolo for once. I was like, Gohan, you're like what, 24 now? Like we don't need Goku and Vegeta to save us all the time. If you see where I'm going, all this.
Well, no, I get you. I get it.
Yeah. Man, I want to watch that movie again. It's really good.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're at section 3 now. I know I rambled a lot in there. I'm just trying to make sure I have some good context and receipts ready.
You're good. You're good. You're good. I don't mind. Like I said, the only thing I gotta do is just get ready for New York Comic Con, but we straight.
All right. Well, halfway point. Section 3: process, craft, and creative evolution. All right. Now, I want you to pick a recent piece and walk us through it step by step. Concept, thumbnails, composition, line work, color, and final tweaks.
I'd say in my LSD collection, it was one of my most recent pieces. It was the Halloween piece I just dropped. That's one of my favorite new ones. It is basically Billy and Mandy and Grimm. Billy's dressed as Chucky. Mandy's dressed as Jigsaw / Itachi. Grimm is dressed up as the ghost from Scream. And there's a bunch of like cool, like little fun, quirky, cartoon, TVs, movies, references in there. And I think it was a really cool piece. The color contrast, obviously keep it dark, but making it still feel like a colorful, dark piece. The line work, a lot of thick, bold lines. That's my go-to style. Contrast is just showing the sharpness of the characters, but still the darkness of the scary, Halloween scene. You know what I mean? So it was fun. It was a really fun piece. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's one of my new favorites.
I think I saw it. First off, Grim Adventures of Bill and Manny, that is a modern classic.
Yeah, classic cartoon. I love the classics.
Yes. So, and I was thinking about that. I was like, well, he's on schedule. It's October, time for Halloween stuff. I know there's a lot of Halloween cosplayers that are going to be going around doing that stuff on social media. Me specifically, like for me for Halloween, I might go ahead and get Phasmophobia. Play that, or play Left 4 Dead series. Play Luigi's Mansion 3. So I got some Halloween horror stuff. Listen, even if I'm not doing art, I'll let my video speak for itself. I mean, because still doing videos is still art. So
yeah,
so it's still that. But when I looked at the piece, I was like, I like how he did all this because Mandy's always in that grim, dark mode, and all that stuff. Billy just being Billy. So
Billy just being Billy.
Wow. So. Yeah, because they kept when I go on Instagram, they kept posting clips from the show. I was like, man, I ain't seen that show in a long time.
Love that show.
I was like, am I getting older?
Basically.
Oh my God. I felt like a kid in a candy store when I saw that. I need to watch that show again. But yeah, it's nice that you got any other Halloween stuff planned out for that.
No, just that one piece. That's all I need.
I understand. Now I could do Batman Arkham Knight again because it takes place on Halloween, but I did it in June because it's the 10th anniversary of that game. Nice. So So rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. You know, he passed away the next day after I completed Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
I was like, I just played the game. I just completed the game last night. You passed away. Jim, you're not supposed to say this is how the Batman died, and then Kevin Conroy passed away the next day.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Dude, he was a legend. Like, I kept getting a lot of Batman stuff. I've been watching the animated series, Justice League, etc. Nobody can replace Batman. Guess what? Mark Hamill retired as Joker because he was like, without Kevin Conroy, it doesn't feel right.
Wow.
Yep. He retired as Joker. And I can respect that. Like, don't do that to yourself, Mark. If you want to retire as Joker, I respect your decision to retire as Joker. So
respect it too. I take it you're a big Batman fan. I see it on the shirt.
Yes, I got so many shirts. Do you know how many Batmobiles I have in my room right now?
Probably a lot.
Yeah, I do. And guess what? I just ordered another pop figure. It's the Arkham City Batman.
Nice.
Listen, the only reason why I wanted it because I wanted to complete the Arkham trilogy in my room. Yeah, I got Arkham Asylum Batman, and it has the poster in the back.
Okay.
I have the Arkham Knight Batmobile from Jada Toys that I got off of Amazon.
Really?
Yes,
and a whole collection.
Huh?
So you got like a whole like Batman like collection, like you got like a bunch of Batman stuff.
Yeah, and I also got I got the Arkham Knight Batman pop figure.
Okay.
And then I also have a collector's edition Batman Arkham Asylum figure I got in St. Augustine, Florida when I was down there for college. I had to get him.
Nice.
And then I got the 2022 Batman pop figure with the Batmobile and Robert Pattinson Batman, and I got another Jada Toys 2022 Batman and Batmobile with the figure right next to it. So can you blame me if I'm a huge Batman person?
Nah, that's cool, bro. That's cool.
So now I want to play the Arkham series again. Every time I talk or any pop culture, so I want to do this again. I want to do that. Oh my god. Oh my god. I got stuff to do now. So sorry, I don't want you to see me like this.
No, you're good, bro. You're good. Be you.
So number 22, your line work, texture, and and lighting pop in a distinct way. What three technical choices, brushes, layer structure, color grading define your style?
I'd say saturated colors. That's the colors that define my style. Thick lines, graffiti, splatters, a little bit of like, nostalgic 90s 3D. You know how like the 3D used to be like little two color layers? I don't know if you've ever seen that. But
I think I've seen
like you ever be like back in the day, like before like the new 3D glasses?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. Remember how like one used to be like blue and it only used to be red, like for old school 3D? Yeah, I like doing like a lot of that. I like my art. I like so much different things, but yeah, all that type of stuff just brings together the Vyrus style. It's all the different contrasts of the colors and stuff.
Hey, if it feels like you and it looks like you, then do it.
Yeah, and that's what I can really say, man. That's what brings the Vyrus style together. So
definitely, and I like the style. See, listen. Now you're making me want to buy one of your shirts.
Yeah, well, I don't have the shirts up now, but they will make a return soon. Just not right this second.
Well, hey. If that doesn't work, I'll just catch you at Anime Weekend Land and get one.
Oh yeah, you could do that too.
So, shoot. See, the more I talk about it, the more excited I get about getting some of your artwork and stuff. Even if it's not a paint, at least it'll be a shirt.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be so cool.
So there's that. All right, next one. How do you approach composition and storytelling in a single image? Talk through how you decide the focal point, the pose, and the background beat.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry, I didn't catch the question.
Oh yeah. I was saying, how do you approach composition and storytelling in a single image? talk through how you decide the focal point, the pose, and the background beat.
The pose, I try to go for a pose that feels like the character, but it feels unique too. Like you almost like that you've never seen the character do this pose, but when you look at it, you recognize it as them. So that's like one of like the biggest things I try to implement into the art. Like it feels like them, but it don't look like them.
Okay, okay. Especially you just like to, because it's basically like, you're going into like let me give me a little analogy. Like you go into a lab, like a science lab, and you just figure, just guessing, you just want to see what happens, don't you?
Yeah.
It's basically like that kind of system, kind of way what you're doing art. Like I want to try this part and see what happens, and boom, something but extraordinary happens. No, yeah, because I was thinking of that one because I was like, maybe he kind of feels that way when he does art. Like, let's test the waters. Like, what different parts and pieces I want to put together. Like, how's this going to turn out? Let's just do something random and see what happens.
Yeah, I can do that too, but I think my biggest goal, as long as it just feels right when it all comes together, that's what I aim for. I don't really be knowing how the piece is gonna look when I'm done, but I can feel when it's finished.
True, that's true. You want to make sure that it's really ready to go. But yeah, that's what most people doing. Like I just want to, if something comes up in your hand, you just run out of ideas. Some people would like to try something different, see if this works, and they might do it. You might stick with the same thing. You might have to switch to something different if the same thing doesn't work all the time. But it's nice that you know that you got neurons firing in your head and ready to go
at all times, man. All times.
Let's see. We're getting close to the end of the section, and then I guess we'll be at the finale. But I have thrown some very powerful questions at you.
Nah, you have. I'm enjoying this. This is dope. You're making me think about real life stuff, things about when it breaks down the art. I appreciate this, Phil. Thank you.
No problem, man. No problem. That's my job. I just listen. I just want to pick your brains for just a second.
No, you're doing it. You're doing a great job. I'm in tune. Sorry if it feels like I'm all over the place. I'm just getting back to people.
No.
Everybody's like, "Oh, are you ready for New York Comic Con? You're gonna have this." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I will."
Hey, take your time, dude. I'm just glad you were able to squeeze him before you go. So I was like, let me try to get him before he goes to this convention, because afterwards you might be tired.
Yeah, it's all good. But yeah, that's all good. What's the next question?
All right. Many of your works tell stories in one frame. Now, how do you decide what moment to freeze? The emotion, the motion, or the symbolism?
It's different. It depends on what I'm going for. So I'll tell you one of my favorite pieces where I feel like I captured like the motion and the timing right. It was the piece I did with Static Shock and Powerline. I don't know if you've seen that one.
I like Static Shock. That was an old classic too.
Okay, so I don't know if you've seen that piece.
I've seen it though. I've seen your work.
I did one where I put them both together. Like they're just hanging out with some electric Pokemon, and they're like in LA, just hanging out. And even though Powerline doesn't really have electric powers, he symbolizes the power of electricity through being a pop star, and Static Shock is electric. So to make them both, surf on like the little boards and hanging out with some electric Pokemon, I just thought that mashed together was pretty dope and amazing. And I love that piece. I think that's one of like my best pieces, and that represent blurs and black nerds, and who love both of those characters. So I like that piece a lot.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if he's electric, you got to put him with Pikachu, at least electric stuff. Because I know, like, with some people, when they do like these pop culture things, like let's say, for example, like let's take Guardians of the Galaxy, for example. I don't know if you played the game by any chance. I don't know if you played the game. But if you play the game, like if you can look at the style for all the Guardians of the Galaxy, like Star-Lord, for example, his jacket, the blasters, Gamora, everything else, they're like 80s styles clothes. And I was like, well, they do have 80s style music in this game. So they want to make it feel like it's like out of this world, galaxy rock music.
Yeah. You're right.
You know, because I know when the game developers at Square Enix, they want to make a Guardians of the Galaxy game. Let's try to make the Guardians of the Galaxy look like punk rock stars. So it's basically the same thing with your style. With if it's like Electric Band or something, Static Shock with Pikachu or something or Pokemon, you try to apply that stuff to in your art.
I try. I really do.
Yeah, I hope that was a good analogy. If I can,
really good. Appreciate that. Great
yes,
analogy.
I just like I said before. I just when I come here, I just want to make sure I have good analogies.
No, you're doing an awesome job.
So, last question of this session, then we'll be almost done. Where do you intentionally break the rules of autonomy, lighting, or proportion, and why?
I try to follow it. I don't try to break it too much, but I also try to have fun, with like depth, like in the picture. Like if something looks like it's forward or coming behind you, try to have a lot of fun with that. So I don't really break it too much. It's more try to expand like a different way to view it and see it.
Okay. So no breaking like the third wall or anything.
No, not too much. I stick to it. I just try to show you a different way how it could look. Like a different camera angle. Like, I could have my hands like this, or I could have it like,
yeah.
It's more dynamic where this is in the front and the background, or I could have just did it this way,
I understand. You just want I understand from your point of view, you just want to keep it simple. Don't make it complicated for the person too hard to understand. Like I've seen so many artists who like to make things complicated a little bit. Not saying they're bad people. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, but why don't you make it simple for us to understand? Or at least put a description up. That way we'll be ready to know. But I guess not knowing is part of the fun, probably.
Yeah.
Like a magician never reveals his tricks.
That's true.
And I probably know you don't reveal all your tricks. You keep all the good stuff.
Just a little bit, just a couple of stuff. Not every single, detail.
All the good stuff. I never I never leave anything on a computer or a Google or a document. All the good stuff stays up here.
Absolutely.
True. All right. Next section, which this should be closer because thing is I've been losing track of the questions like for section 4 and 5 and everything. You know what? We'll be fine. Let's go ahead and get into it. Now, walk us through your first paid job. Now, how did it appear? How did you price it? And what did it teach you about selling your time and skill?
My first what? Like my first piece sold, you said?
Yeah, your first piece.
Are we talking like professionally or like amateurly?
Let's start with the amateur.
As far as I can remember,
As far as you can remember.
Okay, as an amateur level, yeah, I just remember being young in like school and like having like little drawings. I still have like the book of drawings here. And I remember like going to school and showing people, hey, look at my artwork. And so I was like, oh, I want that. And I was like, okay, well, let me sell it. What was the cheapest price for me at the time? $1. So sold a lot of my pictures for like $1 at the time.
What about professionally?
Professionally? Yeah, and I hear you professionally. When I went to a con for the first time and started selling like big pieces for like $300-400, and people were like, yeah, I'll take it, I'll buy it. So that was a good feeling, to know that people value the art, value the price, didn't hassle the price, and they take it for what it is.
That's nice, man. So overall, it turned out great. Like it's like you just felt like, all right, let's see how this thing does.
Exactly.
Just go ahead and do it.
Just keep going
and just knock it out. And listen, even if it's not perfect in the first try, at least it started something amazing later.
Yeah, it did.
Let's see. Next one. You've worked with major clients and done merch collabs. Now, how did those relationships start, and what do you insist on contractually protect your IP?
Well, I can't really protect it that much because it's not my character. But if we're just talking just the idea of the art, I try to make sure that I implement rules that let people know, like, hey, you know, just respect the art, the version I create. Let's partner on making these products. I've been burned a lot of times working with people, so I'm getting to a point where I'm trying to learn how to do a lot of it direct and myself. And if I am working with somebody, it's someone who I feel really comfortable with. So I do it just try to expand and give people a chance to work with me and also put my art out in different mediums out there. So it's always a great time trying to figure that out.
That's true. And listen, when I do collabs on people on these things, I always ask for consent. I want to ask, like, okay, what are like if something comes up, like, you know, okay, Oz, first thing, and you probably know this, you want to make sure you have come in with a cordial conversation. Like, hey, like if I say, hey, this piece isn't working out for me, you know, what can we do about this?
Yeah.
So that's the question you got to ask yourself. What like that's the person that person has to ask yourself as you, like, you know, what can we do about this? How can we make this better so I can enjoy it?
Exactly.
So, and you know, that's the same thing I be having when I go into GameStop too. Like if my system starts getting broken, I want a new system or something. So they give me some good options. But yeah, I think that goes with any kind of business, you know, collaboration. You have to sit down and brainstorm with the person, see if this works. Because I have talked to a cosplay player couple, and they've done stuff that just didn't seem they couldn't agree on, but they managed to figure out how to make this work for everybody at the convention.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see in my previous videos. Next question for our collection or drop. What's your roadmap? Concept, production.
For something I want to drop?
Yeah, for a collection or drop. Like, you know, what's your roadmap, concept, production, marketing, and post-launch? Share one successful and one failed drop and why.
One successful drop was the creation of the gold trading card. That was fun. That was pretty much me working with my partner. You know, shout out to Biz, that nerd named Biz. He gave me the idea and the concept, hey, we should make trading cards of your artwork. And I was like, okay, who would buy that? And he was like, no, trust me, people would. And I was like, at first I was like, if you say so. So we put it together, designed the cards, designed the serial code, put it out there, and people have been enjoying it and buying and supporting it since. So that was a successful drop. An unsuccessful drop was when I wanted to create nameplates for my artwork, where every piece has like its proper name attached to it at the bottom, but you got to buy the plate for the artwork separately. And I don't say that no one didn't want it. I just didn't get a chance to roll it out properly the way I wanted to. But that's just an example of, hey, some ideas could go crazy or boom. Sorry, the idea that you don't think could go crazy will go crazy, but the idea that I thought was going to be good, which is the nameplates, you know, didn't go good. So don't even overthink the rollout anymore. Just do it and see what happens. Sometimes you never know. It just works out that way.
Well, Oz, you know the old saying, some direction is better than no direction. So let's see what happens.
Exactly. Let's see what happens. I'm in no rush. You know what I mean? And you always learn something too.
I got you.
You always learn something.
Now, next question. When demand grows, how do you scale without losing quality or voice? Do you outsource, build a team, or systemize production?
Everything. You gotta do all that. There's no one answer to that. You have to do everything. You have to systemize, you know, your process. You have to outsource things that you can't or may not have the time to do in order to properly scale. And I've scaled so many times and failed and made so many mistakes. So I'm saying this from experience. You got to try your best to do all of that at the same time. It's a lot, but you have to try because it's the only way you'll be able to manage it better and properly.
Yeah, because I was thinking, does he do this all by himself? But I know sometimes you're not a one person army.
I got a whole team. You need a team. Can't do it by yourself.
Yeah. You know, like with me, you know, I listen, when I'm going out to these conventions and talking to people, I don't have anybody. I'm just by myself. I'm a one-man show, but I still make it work. Eventually I'll have a team at some point, but
yeah, one day you'll get to that point where you're gonna need people by your side to make sure that the vision is staying strong. You just got to get with people who see the same vision, lock in with you, who believe in you, and will do anything to see your vision come to life because they'll make it a part of their vision, you know?
Yeah. Because I have a cousin who lives in Atlanta. His name is Dwayne Rogers. He has a team with him who does a lot of photo shoots for models. So I kind of figure he doesn't do this by himself. He has a team behind him. By the way, he just had a daughter. So
nice. Congratulations, new addition to the family.
Yep. It was her birthday last week.
Okay,
so she's 1 year old. She's 1 year old.
Congratulations, man.
So, but yeah, she's been doing this for on. He has a team behind him. He's been working with nice, very amazing people like Tika Sumpter and all that stuff.
Okay, so fire.
So yeah, he has a team behind him. He doesn't do this by himself. He's not a solo act.
You can't, man. You need a team at all times. For everything.
Yeah,
I get it.
But yeah, but the way this is going with me being an independent journalist, I was like, I've gotten used to the one man thing. You know, I had to do my research and know how this is done properly. Like, I can't just show up at a convention without knowing how this whole thing works, one person at a time.
Sorry, my computer keeps going out, so I didn't hear the last thing you said.
Oh yeah, I was saying, you know, with me going to this convention since I'm a independent like person doing all these interviews, these hot takes and everything, just talking to people, you know, get their perspective. You know, I've gotten used to it. You know, I had to do my research on how it's done because I have to do everything by myself, but it's okay. But in the meantime, this is the only best way I can do it. But it's still working itself out. But with the team situation, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it.
Yeah, and when you get, I hear you though. I was able to tell what you said. Do you hear me? You hear me? I hear you now. You have instructions.
Yeah. Yeah. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Okay. Yeah, no, I put together what you said. I didn't, it wasn't fluent, but I was able to get context clues. Yeah, when you get a team, it all makes sense by the time you're ready,
I got you.
Just take your time, find the right people and build it,
Yeah. And like I say, when you get to that point, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. So no rush. All right, we're okay. Now we're at the last one. Sorry, I've been losing track of these questions because I had so many deep dive questions for you. I want to make sure this was okay.
Nah, you're good. Go for it.
So, all right, last section, then we'll be done. Now, you sit at a cultural intersection. How do you see your role in bridging anime communities and urban street culture?
Say that question one more time.
Yeah, I was saying you sit at a cultural intersection. How do you see your role in bridging anime communities and urban street culture?
How do I see myself bridging them? I feel like urban street culture is important because, I grew up around pop culture, hip hop, graffiti, and just street art. So I kind of like bridging that into anime as best as I can because I feel like it's a beautiful mix when it's done correctly. And I like, the softness and just the cultural vibe that anime gives and just Japanese art. So I feel like when you bring them together, it makes a beautiful, beautiful thing. And street art to me is everything. Fashion is everything. Hip hop is everything. Rap music, street art. I love all that. So I feel like I had to be the one to kind of tie it all in together as best as I can.
It's nice. And say I have seen a few animes who done like street art and everything. I think I don't know if Gacha Kata is one of them. Maybe it is.
Yeah, it's a nice mixture of that. I see it in the show. It's a nice mixture.
Okay. I just thought I want to throw that in there because I've seen some of that artwork where they do like all the street art into the anime show like that, and it was really good.
It's good. Yeah, no, it's a great show. I like it.
I need to check it out for myself. Brandon Laurel told me I need to check out that show if I haven't watched it yet. But I've seen the intro and I like how they got all the details down.
Yeah.
I don't know if vigilantes count. I don't know if My Hero Academia vigilantes count because I know they dropped the intro for that, but I don't know if it counts.
Nah, it's a little bit deeper than that. It has to be something more where like it fully resonate with us. You know what I mean? Like I see where they're trying to like connect to us as Black people with the culture, but it has to be somewhere like it's never going to be as good as an actual Black person who can make it, but it's a good visual representation or appreciation for our culture too. When they add the street art, you know what I mean? It's not perfect, but it's a good representation.
I got you. Speaking of representation, next question. This one's important. You fuse anime and Black culture in ways that feel authentic. What message do you hope that sends to the next generation of creators?
Be authentic. Be as authentic as you can be. You know what I mean? That's all you got at the end of the day. How authentic your style can be, who you are, how you look, how you portray yourself. So as long as you do your best to implement those styles until you can't go wrong.
Okay. Yeah, because there's been a lot of Black culture and stuff. There have been people who've done their own comics. They've done like, you got Megan Thee Stallion. She's into anime deeply. So there's that too. I think the more that people like you keep doing artistic stuff that inspire people to create, say it doesn't matter what you are, you can do this kind of stuff with no limits.
Yeah, you can. You absolutely can.
So listen, don't let anyone tell you that you can't now. If you can do this stuff, do it.
Exactly. That's all we all have to try to keep doing. Just keep doing it. That's it.
Exactly. And that's how you got to here today, Oz.
Yeah, I'm trying, brother. One day at a time, one art piece at a time, one interview at a time, one everything at a time. Just do what I gotta do.
Right.
That's it.
That's right. All right. Critics sometimes call fan art derivative. What's your argument for a reinterpretation as original work, and what makes it powerful?
I know it's not original, but I make it original in the way I render, like how I render it. That's my rebuttal. It's not an original IP like the idea, but the way how I brought it together to me is where artists who are like me can understand each other, because anyone could just draw something how it is, but the style of how you make it is what makes the artist stand out or not. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand.
And it's up to people like us to help them educate on something like this, because I know there's a lot of people who won't understand it. But
yeah,
the question is, how can we teach them if they're willing to sit down and teach? And
we can't. We can't. I've been doing this for years. There's no teaching them. Either you get it or you don't. That's it. There's no teaching them. I literally been doing this for years, trying to preach this, and some people just don't. Some people just don't get it. So
I understand, man.
I'm done teaching. I'm just gonna just do what I like and keep moving.
That's true. I understand. And there's nothing wrong. Like here's the thing. Like if I can't do nothing, I can't do nothing. Like I can't waste my breath on you. I can't. There's an old saying. Ready? I can lead a horse. I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make him drink it.
Exactly. And that's how I look at it. So, with that being said, I'm not stressed anymore to teach it. I just do what I do.
I got you. You supported emerging artists. What's your mentorship philosophy, and how do you actively uplift others?
Just by reaching back out to people and giving them, some game and advice. It's not really anything I'm doing on a daily basis to help artists. I'm trying to still work on myself and build my brand up. So I don't got nothing going on to where I'm actively contributing something to another artist's career or life. But if you ask me questions, I'll give you answers. If you need some advice, I'll give you some advice. So I try to be a helping hand in the community as much as I can.
Of course. Listen, even artists and everything, we're supposed to help each other out when something feels like, oh, I can't do this anymore. It's like me, like me talking to you guys. It's like a form of therapy. I want to how can this help somebody?
Exactly. So,
and I've been getting a lot of DMs swarming my comments, and they're saying this was very heartwarming conversation. Listen, Oz, don't judge me, okay? Please don't judge me, all right? But In my last episode with us guys too, like last week, I did get emotional and tears started coming down my eyes.
It's all
So,
good. It's
so
all
I
good.
mean, but you know, he said no need to apologize. You're fine. So I just didn't want her to see me like that. I just got emotional with her story. But you know, it's just kind of like those moments where you feel like, well, I'm still human at the end of the day.
You are. That's all that matters, bro.
So, but it's okay to cry when you have to. But
Yeah.
yeah, just you know, but yeah, uplifting each other's help out stuff. You know, just make sure to be there for them when they're ready. So, let's see. Let's see. How do you see your art documenting the culture right now? What story will people remember about this era when they look back at your work?
I just want them to see an artist that just truly stood on just trying to be original and had fun. There's not much of a message I want to leave behind. Just have fun with the art, take it and make it yours in a sense, like how it looks. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Speaking of that, where do you want Vyrus Graphics to be in 3 to 5 years? Galleries, animation, apparel, tech. What steps are you taking to get there?
Nothing. I want it done by that time. I don't want nothing to do with it at that time. This is just for now. This is just for me to, you know, uh, get my skills going, build my network, build my name. It's not sustainable in those time of years because it's still fan art. I'm trying to take what I built, my fan base and my network, and take it to have them support my originals. So the question should be, where do I see Ozzyoz Da Vyrus as the brand, as the artist? That's where I see, a lot more success from the pieces I create and what I'm doing. But Vyrus Graphics is cool. I love it. That's like my baby. I birthed, I put everything into it, but it made me realize I can't take it as far as I want it to. So just got to figure it out and just keep growing the Vyrus brand, like Ozzyoz Da Vyrus.
Do what you can for now.
Exactly.
So,
So I'm
like I
trying.
said, we'll worry about that. Worry about that when we get there.
You
So, but
will.
yeah, just like I said, I just to be telling people, and I also told them, we don't know how much time we got left on this earth.
We
We just
don't.
gotta enjoy it to the fullest.
Exactly.
So, let's see. I'm guessing we should be almost done. Let me make sure I got this right. Um, if your younger self could see you now, what do you think he'd say, and what would you tell him back?
I feel like my younger self would be proud. I accomplished a lot. Um, I don't think there's nothing I'd ever feel like I wouldn't be happy about that I have already done. However, I would make sure I tell myself to, take your time. There's no rush to scaling so fast. Take your time and, look a little earlier to find the right team. I feel like I got the right team like a little late in my career. Like I got it when I got it, but it would have been great to have it a little earlier.
Okay. Okay. That's really nice advice. Sometimes and listen, sometimes we think maybe I should do a little recorded video message for my past self or something that can help out my older self later. But yeah, I think that's nice that you've learned that world's full of possibilities. We just need to know where to start looking. And the fact that you made it this far in life doing all kinds of artistic stuff, that just tells you exactly who you are.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
I think that wraps it up. I know it was a lot of questions because there was a lot of deep dives and everything. Again,
No, the great question, man. Thank you.
I just wanted to pick your brains, but yeah, go check out his artwork. His name's Ozzyoz Da Vyrus. Go check him out. I'm actually going to see my anime week in Atlanta because he's heading there next. I might get something from him.
Let's do it. I'll be there to sign it.
Sure thing. Sure thing.